We're starting. Hey, we're back. All right.
It,
It's been what?
Now let's talk about the Little
6
Giants.
months?
What is the podcast that hasn't recorded in 4 months? That we're going to talk about Little Giants and how there hasn't been enough Little Giants podcasts.
I think we just set a record for how long it's taken us to get derailed, Daniel.
To
Because I'm pretty
what?
sure it was less than a second. We got derailed as we were doing the countdown was happening for when it was going to go live.
I'm not the one that mentioned the Little Giants. It wasn't me.
It was me.
No, that happened before we started. We were supposed to stop.
Who cares? Anyway, movie takes, new episode. It's a reboot. First time in 4 months. Let's do it.
Movie Takes Reboot is not directed by J.J. Abrams. There are no lens flares. Except
Hey,
for...
there was like one lens flare in Star Wars,
one?
alright? There was like one.
Look, production value, Daniel. Production value. Alright, so a lot of stuff has happened. Different places, different jobs, different...
No, we're all in the same place that we were last time we recorded.
Well,
That's not true.
Technically, I'm in the exact same place that I recorded last. I have a different computer. It's down here. And it is much better, and it is a PC, so I can actually do things with it other than design things. So we have all watched Deadpool, and I thought that would be a very good time to kind of come together with Daniel and Matt to... We still can't show while we talk, this time just for reasons other than a bad internet connection. But we're talking about Deadpool. We all saw it, and apparently everyone else did. I don't know about y'all, but...
Like, okay, so here's how I judge whether a movie is going to be successful, alright? Okay, me and Matt, we went and saw Star Wars opening night together, right? We were out. The line was out the door into the bitter cold of the December air, which you would expect from a Star Wars movie. I bought my ticket for Deadpool the day before just in case, and it is a good thing that I did because like within 3 minutes of me entering, having picked up my ticket from the automated thing in the lobby at the theater I go to, and me getting in line in the concession stand, I overheard one of the people that was selling tickets say, the 7 o'clock Deadpool is sold out. And then I get in the theater, and basically the entire main section is full. There's people who have saved their seats and all that, and I have to resort to the third row from the front, the farthest seat to the left. That's how full it was for Deadpool at 7 p.m. And I compare this because I saw Thor: The Dark World in Indianapolis, same time on a Thursday at 7 o'clock, and there were maybe 8 people in the theater that watched it. And Deadpool made bank.
I mean, to be fair, the first Thor was terrible, so I don't blame people for not showing up to the second one.
The first Thor was like 3 okay movies.
I still don't own either of the Thor movies. I want to, but I just don't.
Well, like I don't know about you guys, but I do.
Why can't I click on the control room thing at the left, Crow?
I don't know, Daniel. I'm not on your computer, but
it says I'm in a moderated video call. This video call is running up that gives the moderator the ability to control your audio video settings during the call, such as turning your camera on or off.
Daniel,
Moderator,
we don't talk about production. We don't talk about production.
I want.
And why are you asking basic questions that you should have asked like 20 minutes ago in this scenario? You're like, hey, we're being recorded like right now? What does that mean? Like, does that mean I'm always being recorded right now? God. Forget it. Anyway, moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, Daniel. For the record, like YouTube isn't going to like show anything in here.
I mean,
So, oh, are you? And now you're muted. I don't know why you're muted.
to be fair, until one of us makes it big, nobody's going to listen to this anyway, and they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, this was definitely a first episode, definitely."
Hey, as far as I know, Colton like listened and watched. So hi, Colton. Maybe.
Hi, also Colton.
Gosh, all I want to do is play the music video for Angel of the Morning. God.
Really, that's the one you wanted to play? Like I was going to play Careless Whisper, but anyway, let's move forward.
Yes. So I went to go see Deadpool in this like fairly small town, like maybe like a tenth of the size of Jonesboro, and the like really small theater. They have one giant theater, and we got there 25 minutes before the movie started, and there were like no seats left. Like it was down to where like people were having to scoot over and make room.
Gosh.
So like so in this town of like less than 10,000 people or so, like they're cramming them in. Like there people were that excited about it. That completely took me by surprise. I was expecting this to be like a decent like gross like
No,
yeah.
like no, like I think I told you guys like at least a week before it was out, they were projecting, oh, it'll make 50 million or 55 million, something like that, and it almost made twice that. Oh no, it
No.
did make twice that.
Yeah, it did.
Um,
And I'm glad that Daniel actually sent me a text saying that his theater was packed because I went a couple hours after he left to go to a theater here in Little Rock, and I'm glad he did because I got seated where I wanted to sit, and then I watched the theater fill up around me. And then I went on the following Sunday, and we ended up having to like scooch together because the theater had filled up again. So
it's unreal how much money this movie made. Uh, like I don't know what its weekend opening weekend. What was its opening week? Okay. Oh yeah, all time Deadpool is the number 16 opening week. That's not weekend. That's weeks. Um, go R-rated movie starring Ryan Reynolds that they've been working on since 2009. Good for
right.
them. Good for
And
them.
kind of speaking with that, I actually kind of I have the same worry that Tim Gunn had about this kind of movie. Is that
James Gunn.
yeah, my bad. That this is gonna shoot forward in a bad way. I saw that Wolverine 3 is going forward as a rated R film now,
Which
which could
they can do since it's the
right,
last Wolverine movie.
right, and
I think they were going to do that before this Deadpool stuff. So it's like,
I,
it's the last one. Let's go all in.
I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because I remember them talking about how the second one was going to be rated R, but then they were like, no, we pulled it back to be PG-13, so all the moviegoers could go. And that was kind of a big fear, but I think it would have been better as a rated R film. And so going forth as a rated R film, it could even be better. And then we might even save Hugh Jackman as Wolverine going into X-Force. So that could be pretty fun.
Well, no, I mean he said the Wolverine 3 is going to be his last movie.
Yeah, but he also said he wanted to do it forever after he watched Birdman. So we'll see what happens.
Really?
Right.
Well, he's going to be fine. He's got Eddie the Eagle coming out soon. So
yeah, because that's going to be a long-running franchise.
Oh man, I could see that being a franchise, man. Eddie the Eagle's son strikes back.
Eddie the Eagle Origins.
It's just a 2 minute long sex scene.
Well, it's the prequel. Yeah, it's the prequel to his origins. So it's just like a really long porno that just shows like his forefathers that led to him.
It's like that one scene from Click.
Worth the remote.
Yeah. Like Ab Sandler clicks the making of feature, and it just he zooms. He goes to when his mom and dad conceived. So.
So anyway, end of tangent number 3.
Okay, move
Right,
forward.
like, have either of you guys like actually read much of the original comic? The only Deadpool I've ever read was the stuff that was like the part of Civil War.
No, I read some of it like my junior year of college. Some of the what's his last name? Wade? What? Crap, what is his name? Matt, help me.
Oh, I'm gonna let you sink this ship.
No, whoever was writing it back in like 2011 or so.
Just guess the second W name.
Crap, what was it? Deadpool writers.
Let's
You
just
don't you
let's
don't
call him
know.
let's call him Wade Watson.
Why can't I think of his name?
Anyway,
See, because the first name that came to mind doesn't sound right, so that's why. But me personally, I started reading Cable and Deadpool uh, a while back. So none of the like original Liefeld comics or anything like that, or anything uh, really since then. So up to Cable and Deadpool. So I'm kind of
Darn it. So
real.
everyone seems to love Cable. I've never read a single Deadpool comic with Cable. Someone explain Cable to me.
Really, that's ironic because you seem like a guy who would just really get Cable. Um, he's the straight man to Deadpool and has been for kind of a long time. He's always kind of like the White Knight kind of character and so it works out for Deadpool because he's kind of chaotic, and so like he goes back and forth between like
Mark
cartoonishly
Wade. That
betraying
was
him.
his name. Mark Wade. I read Mark Wade, or was it Daniel Way? It was either Mark Wade or Daniel Way. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it was either or. All right, I like where you're. I like how you pinpointed on the timeline where that was.
it's one of at least 2 people.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a fan of someone that at some point wrote Daredevil.
Let's be clear about this though. Deadpool, everybody's on board for Deadpool now, but Deadpool has a long history of being either great or the most meh comic book you could ever read. Like, there's a lot of terrible Deadpool comics out there. And anybody who's read comics before, even Wolverine Origins will know that. I mean, there's some really good ones. After Cable and Deadpool came out, there was a really good run of just Deadpool for a long time. Deadpool as a pirate, Deadpool as an X-Men, which is a funny arc. But when you're watching the Deadpool movie and Colossus is all like, "Oh, we're gonna make you an X-Men yet," you're just like, "What are you talking about? Deadpool begged to be an X-Men for a long time." But I mean, it kind of makes sense because of the way that the movie rights work out. So Deadpool has to be a mutant, even though he's actually not a mutant in the comic series. So you know,
But
it's
everyone's an X-Men at heart.
no, no, they're not. Although although Cloak and Dagger got to be X-Men before Deadpool did, and they're not even mutants either. So there was room. There was room. They just, I mean, to be honest though, would you really want Deadpool on your team? Like really?
If he had if he had his big bag of guns, maybe that he
Nah.
forgot in the cab.
They invited him to be a part of the X-Men just in time for Necrosha, and then after that, he was just kind of like on X-Force, and everybody kind of just stopped talking to him. So outside of X-Force.
Okay, so getting back to the Deadpool movie, uh, what was everyone's hopes for it?
not to suck.
Uh,
Um,
I I just I'm kind of with Crow. I was hoping that it was going to be funny. My hopes after seeing the trailers was that it wasn't just going to be like a fuck fest in terms of just literally using the word fuck all the time. And it kind of was that to the degree of it was just like you could kind of tone down. Like I cuss a lot in my regular life, but that was kind of the big detraction for me, was that it was just like really, really. But at the same time, he was kind of in high stress all the time, so I'd probably be saying fuck, 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 fuck
It
all the
was like
time
that
too. So
episode of South Park where they had the counter going in the corner of how many times they said a certain word. I can't
I
remember what it
right,
absolutely would
was.
have. I absolutely would have loved it if, like, the entire time, like every time he would cuss, his like he counted on his fingers throughout the course of the
yeah,
movie.
yeah, that would have actually been pretty sweet too. Like I think it could have been more meta in that regard too. Um,
But
anyway,
a
well,
nightmare for continuity.
right, right, right. Anyway, we'll talk more about issues that I had with the film in a few. So go for it. What was your expectation, Daniel?
Well, well, I was like for most of January, and so I was like, okay, the marketing for Deadpool is amazing. Uh, Not just the trailers, but like the TV spots, the stuff they were doing on social media. Like there was one small advertisement that made it look like Deadpool was like a sweet, like romantic drama. I don't know if you guys saw that. It wasn't a commercial or anything. It was just like a banner ad or something.
Right.
Um, uh, but it's like, oh, wow, I really hope that the marketing isn't doing an exceptional job of covering up the fact that this is a really not a good movie. Uh, and I was also of the mind like, oh man, the promotional materials for Batman versus Superman aren't hot.
Right.
Please let the movie be better than the marketing. And uh, so that's kind of the frame of mind. And I mean, here's the thing: the entire all last weekend during opening weekend, I was seeing people like on Twitter and stuff saying, I think might have told you guys, it's like people saying, oh man, there's a lot of kids under the age of 15 and 12 seeing this movie with their parents. It's like, oh no, the marketing was not clear enough about what this movie was.
Wasn't there an actual ad that was like ran that was said, "This isn't for kids"?
Right.
I don't know, but it's like,
There definitely was some social media ads, more than a few, floating around. It's like, don't bring your kid to this movie. Don't bring your kid to this movie, including, I believe, a Ryan Reynolds video as Deadpool saying, "Don't bring your fucking kids to this movie."
I didn't see that, but uh, I thought the marketing was great, but clearly it didn't convey that this was going to be an R-rated superhero movie, and that's what it was. And I mean, that's what this movie was in spades. It was fun. Yeah, like you said, Matt, the cursing was like it got to the point where it was just cursing to curse. Um,
Yeah.
um,
And I feel like an old man saying that. By the way, there's a part
yeah,
of me
yeah,
that like bitching about the cursing seems like weird, like inherently weird for me. Um, but but
you've
it's
crossed the
exact
threshold.
it's exactly what you said. It's like cursing just to curse to the point that it feels utterly juvenile. It kind of a detraction from it. But again, I kind of frame it, like I said before, in the mind that a lot of it's high stress scenarios. So he's like hardcore cussing because you would be cussing if a bunch of dudes were shooting at you, and they're not all wearing brown pants.
I mean, honestly though, so I know a lot of people that posted Deadpool is not for kids. Don't take your kids. But at the same time, like I think like 13, 14 would be okay. Like my whole impression of it was I felt like this is like a movie you would get like if you gave like a really talented 14-year-old kid a budget.
Right.
Because
I
it has that like late middle school, early high school mentality to it to some degree. Like
right.
it's clever and it's well written, but it has
Well,
that
that's
mentality
that's
to it.
debatable if it's well written. It's
Let,
well put together,
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah, let's be honest. This is the modern Beavis and Butthead to America.
yeah. Okay, it is competently produced.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they set out to achieve a goal, they met it, and then they exceeded it by about $80 million. Uh, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I need to see it again so I can catch all the jokes that were drowned out by laughter. Um, but I guess like I get Crow. I guess what was your final judgment on the movie?
Yeah, I really liked it. Um, as I told Matt, we did have our not very entertaining person sitting next to us, but they didn't really like it. The movie was good enough that that didn't detract too much from it. Um, I mean, it was entertaining. It was funny. It was clever enough. I felt like the fourth wall breaking stuff they didn't push too much. Like it was just about right. Um,
A fourth wall break within a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
yeah. So I really other than the story, I guess like I don't really have a lot of complaints, but I really don't care that much about it in this movie.
Right.
Uh, but like it, there was like a 15-minute segment or 10 to 15-minute segment where there like wasn't a single joke, where it went straight superhero drama, and it kind of killed momentum. And it was like when he was becoming, Deadpool or whatever, when he was being tortured and all that. But
hmm
other than that, it was pretty solid structure wise.
I wouldn't say that it killed momentum to me. I mean, I kind of think that was uh, perfect in showing how what his personality was like and how it kind of went into overdrive afterwards. Um, but I wouldn't say it killed momentum at all to me.
Well,
In
not
fact,
completely. It just slowed it down for 10 to
what
15 minutes.
it needed to be considering the movie
Yeah,
is basically two very long like action sequences broke up by like uh flashbacks. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, that the flashback structure of it was a little off-putting, but I guess I got used to it and didn't care.
well, here's I thought about that going into it the second time I watched it, and if you consider it, you I'm grateful for it because it without that, it really would like then the whole first act would have been like romantic drama or romantic comedy, and then like the second and third act would have been just like nothing but hardcore action.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it wouldn't have worked as well as it did, I don't think. And some part of me thought while watching it that they felt either obligated to shoehorn in like the test footage kind of where and it looked good, but at the same time it kind of irked me a little bit because I was like, we already kind of saw this. We saw this way before the movie was technically greenlit, and then a lot of this was kept in exactly as it was in the test footage. And then, my big kind of thing is I was hoping that there'd be more improving, and so that a lot of the stuff we were saying and a lot of the jokes we were saying in the teaser and the um, trailers and stuff wouldn't have necessarily been in the movie, and we would have seen a lot, kind of alternate versions of that, and it would have worked a little well. But at the same time, I mean, I liked the film, but I don't think I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as I would have if I'd have seen it like maybe 5 years ago. You know?
Uh, maybe three. I'd give you maybe three. Like we've now been exposed to Guardians of the Galaxy, which was going to be the next point I was going to bring up. Which do you think plays to your sensibilities more, Deadpool or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Me personally, probably Deadpool. But that's probably because it took me about 5 times to watch Guardians of the Galaxy till I really like it. To the degree that anybody else did. Uh, that's true, but that comes from a background of having read a lot of Guardians and just being kind of pissed off that they were like just Gamora hardcore on being a strong female character and just kind of robbed Drax of. They gave Drax something that worked really well, but kind of also robbed him of all of the complexities that came before him too. So I mean, anyway, that's not the point. Like as far as my sense of humor and things go, Deadpool is a lot more kind of in line with that.
Yeah.
Or I would say it would be, but again, it was weird because it was watching a movie, but also recognizing at the same time that I think this is funny, but there's a younger me that would have loved it a lot more.
Yeah. I'll only ask because I don't think we get the Deadpool movie unless Guardians of the Galaxy is as successful as it was. So that's the only reason I asked that. So, and now we're probably going to get a deluge of copycat movies. So
I mean, I completely disagree with that. I don't think that Guardians of the Galaxy had anything to do with this. Really, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I really don't.
I mean, I see it to the extent of it convincing studios to take more genre risks, but I don't see that like in this case because this wasn't this is something where people had to go out and like prove that they could nail the concept before they were given a modest budget basically.
Right.
I think saying modest is a charitable description of the budget they were given.
Well, compared to
well, I mean, 55 million is a pretty decent amount of budget for what it is. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like this was a $20 million film.
Yeah,
I mean,
but still,
it's not as indie as they'd like you to believe. But I mean, it was.
Let me look up the budget for Iron Man just for comparison's sake.
Did either of y'all read that article I sent y'all a couple days ago?
I skimmed it.
Yeah, it was basically about
I
things that had to be cut out of the movie. I think it was mostly for budget reasons.
Right.
Like it was still a low budget for what they were wanting to do, but reading that, like, I honestly feel like it forced them to make a lot of creative decisions that, like, the end result was maybe a better product.
Right.
Like the best example of it is them leaving the guns in the car was the result of them not having the budget for a gunfight. So they, and I thought that was just like.
Oh, it was hilarious though. It was, where's your bag? Where's your bag?
Right. That was good. I like that, and I thought that it worked out a lot better. Not just for budgetary reasons, but I thought it worked out better just to see how the characters were kind of more creative. Although with that said, though, Negasonic Teenage Warhead had that one cool moment, and then the rest of the time it was just like her curling up into a ball and shit happening.
yeah.
She basically just turned into Blanca.
Yeah, for all of yeah.
Turned into what?
Like Blanca and Street Fighter.
After that first hit, she was basically a pressure plate until the very end, where she was like a big pound.
Yeah, she I liked her. I wish she'd gotten I don't know, 2 more scenes of character development maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess maybe I'm a little weird. I actually kind of felt like the fact that her and Colossus were a little two dimensional, especially her, almost like fit with the movie.
Right.
I loved when she said she told Deadpool what her name was. He's like, "What? That name's awesome! I want that name!" Or something like that. But so, but yeah.
So, what about like just as far as the early parts of the movie, like you, the one thing that was a little weird is that beginning part and the way they kind of wrote the relationship part of it, and I don't know, it was really odd, and that like I felt like they did kind of get that feeling of those two characters having a relationship, but at the same time the comedic parts of it like didn't necessarily mesh for me.
Like what?
Like in the montage scene, there's the different stuff with where they're basically having,
What Calendar Girl's playing in the background?
I guess. I don't remember
I
the
love that.
song.
I love a good montage, and that was a good montage. How it ended was awkward, but yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I was completely fine with it. Um, uh,
Wait, are you talking specifically about him and his relationship with Firefly Girl?
Yeah.
Firefly
Okay.
Girl. What are you talking about? She was. She okay.
I,
Okay, yeah.
I
Right.
actually,
Okay.
actually that was one of my favorite parts of the movie, mainly because it's their comedy back and forth is very similar to my own relationship, and so I got to see a lot of myself in that. And um, I, but I will say that it was funny because I talked to Daniel after that, and he didn't realize that they were joking back and forth, trying to one up each other. He thought that their conversation was serious, and I was.
You need to be you need to be you think you need to be specific about what part of the conversation.
Well,
Uh,
okay, specifically about the molestation part, I was like, wow, that was kind of dark for a lot of the crowd coming. And I said, especially considering they were joking, and Daniel was going, no, I thought he was serious about that, and I was like, no, he completely wasn't serious. They were just trying to one up each other, just because they were clearly having fun with it.
I still think they might have been serious, but they were just said it in a light-hearted manner.
I mean,
Oh.
they might have been serious about but it was clearly them just trying to one up each other. So that was in fact that whole conversation was kind of weird that you were kind of like trying to veil what you were talking about right there, Crow. So
No, I wasn't talking about that actually. That conversation. I was talking about just like the whole like montage, like like
the, are we talking
I
about
was
the sex montage?
yeah. I was talking about that.
Okay, you should have said sex montage
Well, I
because that
did. Then
sex montage was
Daniel started talking about
fantastic.
this other thing, and so I just let it go.
Right, but the sex montage was fantastic as well. I like the kind of joke in the joke. How long can you do this for? A year. And then so they just hit up all so they hit up uh all the corny holidays, including Chinese New Year, which was one that gave a lot of laughs in my theater.
Yeah, like
But
what I was getting at though is that that was one of the parts where for just for me personally, I felt like the balance of like kind of poking fun at stuff and actually like developing an actual like relationship like got a little bit off just because of mainly like sort of the like I don't know the silly holiday type stuff and that sort of thing. Like it's not anything that was wrong. It was just sort of like a I don't know. I was aware that they were poking fun at it,
Right.
and so it kept me from getting too like like
they're
accepting of
definitely poking fun at it when Ryan Reynolds is assuming the position at the end. Uh,
No, no, no.
that was like, oh, okay. Next scene, please. Next scene, please. That was the only part where I was like, okay, enough.
Is that because you wanted to see him take it all, or you just wanted to fast forward?
I just wanted to fast forward.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Anyway, but
We both know the truth, Matt. We both know the truth.
I feel like I know the truth. Considering he personally recommended Overnight to me, we know the truth.
wait, did
And
you did you watch it?
I did, yeah, and which was super surprising to hear from you. But we're gonna move forward back to Deadpool.
Okay, well, we need to have a conversation about that movie later.
So you've watched it too, Crow?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Anyway, back to Deadpool.
Oh wow.
I'm glad that me and Crow are clearly in the moment thinking, wait, Daniel's seen this?
Yeah, I'm the one that recommended it to you guys. So there.
My mind was blown watching it because I was like, Daniel? Really? Just 5 years ago, he would have cringed and then just got on Twitter and just bombed this movie. All it used to take was a bare chest for Daniel to be like, nope, this was a terrible film. There was a half nude guy up front, which he would have thought Deadpool was terrible back in the day when we first met. He'd been like, have you seen as much chest in a movie? There was way too many guy chests in this movie. It was terrible.
Your assessment of my movie taste from 5 years ago are way off base, sir. Just say it. Anyway,
This
Deadpool.
depends on which movies we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
back to Deadpool.
derail number 37. Over. Let's go. So,
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the third act and how everything went down at the end?
I'm just confused as to if that was supposed to be a just random like battleship or a airship.
It was a helicarrier. It was like the old version of the helicarrier from the comics, but there was no shield symbols or anything, but it was a helicarrier.
Well, I was just confused because it was like they were loading stuff onto it, but it also looked like it was like being decommissioned.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't know if like maybe they just like to hang out there, like a bunch of unruly teenagers, or if I don't know. That part of it was kind of confusing.
No, that's fair, and I didn't even think about it being a helicarrier until Daniel said something, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, they couldn't really use the helicarrier, so it would make sense why they would never call it that. But I kept thinking, I was like, they're like landlocked, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where the hell this movie takes place, but the whole movie seemed very landlocked to me. And so so just having a random ship just like on land seemed very odd.
But it was weird because they were in like a boneyard type place.
Right,
You know?
and there's this big ass ship just there.
I guess we'll just put this here. I mean, got nowhere else to put it. It's not like anyone's gonna do anything with it, except have an evil lair set up there. You know, like you do.
What did y'all think of the taxi cab driver little sub storyline?
Oh, I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, his love for Geeta knew new bounds, and it was amazing.
It's like, who's in the trunk? Oh, that's so and so. We had a disagreement or something like that. And then when the car runs in the back of the trunk was just perfect for that perfect end to that storyline.
Right. Right. In fact, them leaving the guns in the car worked out well to show how that kind of ended. And I was weirdly thinking about, I was like, oh shit, did he die? Wonder if this means he gets the girl. You know.
That should have been an after credit scene. So
that
hopefully
that
in
would
the
have been
sequel.
amazing.
I hope like
in
the
this,
first like 20 minutes of Deadpool 2 is just like the aftermath of just that.
It would be amazing if it was a wedding.
Yeah,
Like the
that's
opening of
exactly what I was.
Deadpool 2 was their wedding.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like, yeah, the cold open is the wedding, and he's the best man.
And no, it's a wedding, but it pulls back and he's actually in prison.
that would be good. That would be very good. Okay. So I want to take like a second. There was a few things that I wish they had done differently in the movie.
Okay.
And it kind of ties into my overall theme of I think that if you watch it, you kind of see that the film is pretty messy. And like my first one is the real reveal of his face. All right, he reveals his face twice in the first act before they ever cut back to what he actually looks like. And both times I watched it, I was like, okay, the cut to him being like, boo, the first time when he's talking to the cabbie, I was like, okay, you could use that, but like, I felt like if they had cut that part and only showed his face when Colossus is talking to him, why are you doing this or whatever, and he's like, because I want to get this fixed or whatever he says, and then it reveals what his face actually looks like. That would have been better. And then my second thing is like, as far as the jokes go and the rule of three with jokes, when they're on the helicarrier, as you pointed out, and she's got her mouth taped up, his girl, when he removed the tape, the one thing she should have said was, "You've got something in your teeth," and that would have been far better than what she actually said. Which I don't remember what she said, but it would have been better because his following line is like, "Wow, y'all really deserve each other," and it would have been perfect because it would have tied them together not only in a comedic way, which is what their whole relationship was founded on early on in the film, but it would have also been a beautiful callback to the beginning, like that whole first act back and forth between them. What are y'all's thoughts on other kind of things in the film that you think that could have been better or could have been done?
Explaining Ajax / Francis's role, like was he the top dog or was he someone else's lapdog who just happened to have a lot of power?
Right.
Well, like in that article I sent y'all, they actually talk about that, how they're supposed to be like a higher up villain above him, but they needed to keep the number of characters down, so they kind of combined. It's like Doctor something into Ajax.
Kilbrew.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the movie itself, I don't think that's conveyed quite clearly enough that he was the like straight up top dog.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's confusing. That's what happened.
They didn't explain that, but I think there was also the implication that he wasn't, because when he was doing the experiments on Wade, he says that he used to be a patient there himself. So I think that was their way of trying to bridge that, where he was saying he wasn't the top dog like over the whole thing. But yeah, I know what you mean, and I agree. And as far as villains goes, he was very one note and kind of generally a boring villain. His big thing was, "What's my name?" which was in its own kind of way sort of confusing.
So like, do we call him Ajax or do we call him Francis? Because I have the same conflict over whether to call Kylo Ren Ben or just Kylo Ren.
Well, I mean, at this point, we can call him whatever. I mean, he wanted to be called Ajax, but we can call him Francis.
Did you see that picture that's going around on Facebook of a bottle of Ajax with a thing of tape over the logo that says Francis?
Right. Yeah, I've
Oh,
seen it.
but what about you, Crow? What would you have liked to have been different?
Um, I w the whole like kind of interplay he had in the when he was held captive with the other guy that was held captive.
Yeah.
I wish that was developed a little bit more, and I
Uh-huh.
wish that it was more like, and maybe he didn't, but I felt if he died, I wish it was more clear that that guy died. Um,
Right.
because like it's just this inferred thing, and you don't get any kind of weight behind it, to me at least. And
Right.
um, so that was kind of weird. The um, I guess the two main things were the ship, the setting, and that. I thought there was like a missed opportunity with that friend character.
Right. And to the point that it was almost kind of odd because and I remember thinking about that the second time I watched it was like they go out of their way to introduce this character and they have kind of a dialogue back and forth, but that character doesn't have any degree of impact on the actual like film or even really Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like you would have thought that it would have been one of those things where like he would have fucked up and caused him to die and he would have learned this is why you shouldn't be reckless or something like that. But no, it was just like, hey, you were escaping and oh, there's my buddy. Oh, we're all going down in the ship together and I survived.
I also I kind of feel like it wasn't clear how he actually got scarred up. Like whether it was like it wasn't clear whether this is just a side effect of the mutation or if this was caused by the machine he was in or
I think it was pretty clear that it is mostly the machine, but the reason it wasn't worse was because the machine itself caused his mutation to activate, which is what the whole point of Ajax or Francis's torture was to do. So
I mean, you say that, but at the same time, he Ajax definitely points out that oh, this looks like a side effect of your mutation, and I could cure this. So if it were just a machine issue, he would have been, it would have been a kind of a dead giveaway from the beginning that he couldn't cure him. He'd be like, "Yep, that's what this motherfucking thing causes." Versus, "Oh wow, your mutation kind of jacked your face up there, Chief."
plus like his like scarring at least I remember it happening like really fast, and then um the love interest girl, she was in it for at least a little while
Yeah.
and didn't have any side effects. And I don't. There's no clear mechanism for how removing the oxygen from the air would have that effect on someone, anyways. To me, like I can't think of something.
Right. I thought it was very implied that it was his mutation in the movie that did it.
I
Yeah,
have no
but
idea.
I mean, it's so implied that that's kind of the driving point of the movie is that Deadpool wants to capture him, Ajax, because Ajax can cure the side effects of his mutation.
Yeah, but
So,
which it turns out that he can't.
surprise!
One thing I wish could have been done better was beginning with the flashbacks was like establishing like how what exactly Wade did before he was approached by Agent Smith or whatever, because the only thing we see him do is like intimidate that pizza delivery guy. We don't see him do anything else to show what he was doing at that point in his life, to show off that he had special skills or whatnot. Um, like show him robbing a bank or something. I don't know. But do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I think they kind of tell a lot about that, by saying he was special forces and blah blah blah. But I mean, I get what you mean. But I think it comes down to probably financial constraints. I'm sure they would have loved to have opened him up in a Rambo-esque scene, from the get-go.
Thank goodness for sequels.
Right.
I did like the Agent Smith guy. I'm pretty sure that he was one of the aliens from Galaxy Quest. So yeah.
Um, I'm sure you haven't, Daniel, because it's good. But have you watched Silicon Valley, Matt?
The first season. I haven't gotten
Okay.
to the second season.
Wait,
really
seen what? Seen what?
Silicon Valley.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, maybe. I mean, I liked it. I just haven't had the time to watch the rest. So.
Well, it's great, and it's like short episodes. So, anyway, I really like I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but the guy from Silicon Valley that plays.
Oh,
the
T.J.
bartender.
Miller.
Yeah, I really love. I felt like he was like perfect for that role, and he obviously was had living lines, and it just fit in so like well with him. Like he and Ryan Reynolds seemed to really kind of work together really well.
Right. Yeah, the star in your own horror movie bit was really good.
Oh, was that the same scene where they came up with Deadpool's name? Captain Deadpool. Just Deadpool. Yeah, just Deadpool.
Oh, which he had one of my favorite jokes, which I texted y'all about this after the movie, but I was the only one in the theater that laughed whenever he handed in the card and said, I think this will really further the plot line.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, I remembered it once you told me what scene it was from. So, but yeah, it's one of those scenes I need to see again. But so, what do you guys want from a sequel?
Well, I think the writers had already talked about how they didn't really want a bigger budget. They didn't want to do bigger. They wanted the kind of constraints to keep the movie interesting. But with that said, them bringing in Deadpool, or them bringing in Cable, I think it could be kind of fun. Although Colossus seemed like kind of an obvious stand-in for Cable in the first movie, in the sense that they kind of played a similar character, although Cable's not usually as kill shy as Colossus is. So, I mean, with that said, I would like it to be a little bit bigger. I would like them to kind of rein in some of the kind of general messiness that the film has, But other than that, I mean, kind of outside of that, more of the same. Just like Deadpool really playing with other characters.
I thought it was hilarious that we were introduced to when we were introduced to Colossus, he was just in the X Mansion eating a bowl of cereal or whatever while watching TV. So I really like that mundaneness of what was going on.
How great would it be if like the movie at least for the very first starts out with like the girl getting kidnapped again, and there's just like a reference to like the whole like taken thing is like, man, if she gets kidnapped one more time, I'm a terrible boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be great. It'd be great if she gets taken and again, and he's like, just one more time.
I did like that joke. It's like they made 3 movies out of that. He's a terrible father.
You know what I like more than the joke was just the casual delivery of it, and like that joke, and there were other jokes like it in the movie that had such an endearing like delivery of it that really made Wade Wilson an interesting, likable character.
What were the other ones?
Um, the actually like the way that he did the shake weight bit, like it seemed so natural to his character, and then also kind of the casual, albeit cheesiness of the "you've got something in your teeth" thing that he kept doing to Ajax.
And then when he checked his teeth, he's like, I did it! I got him!
Right.
What was the end result of the what's her name? The female bad guy.
There.
Colossus had her slung over his shoulder. And they
Yeah, and that's it. There's no ending to what happened to her.
they got married and have 3 kids.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. Like I almost hope that like she comes back into like a role like something like that.
Right.
I did love that part where Colossus and her were fighting and like her shirt like came loose or something. He's like, I'm so sorry. Your shirt. It's like, oh, that's so sweet of you. Punch.
Yeah, like they should like maybe they could have like her and Colossus be in a relationship, but the like Colossus is playing the the traditional female role in the relationship.
I'd be down for that.
They show up and he's like he's like cooking good breakfast for everyone and
Like
they just
it,
recreate the farmhouse scene from Avengers.
Yes. Yes. Complete with Nick Fury. Because why not?
my kind of question with the film was also kind of about her was like outside of the like needing the match for the escape scene, like they never really kind of explain why the hell she liked having a match in her mouth. Like they like he like Deadpool brings it up. He's like, "Oh, do you have oral fixation or whatever?" And then like, but that's like the closest to an explanation you have. But she is constantly replacing the damn match. And I thought throughout the movie, I was like, oh, maybe it ties into her abilities or something. Maybe she's gonna do something sweet with it. And then you get to the third act, and like Ajax takes it out of her mouth at one point, and then it's just not there anymore. You're like, okay, I guess she's gonna just not do anything with that.
Yeah, I didn't really take that into account. Didn't really bother me.
I would say it bothered me, but I noticed it.
Oh. But
So, well, anyway, so overall, I think everybody pretty happy with it.
yeah, looking forward to the next one. Probably I would guess 2 years. So
Man, yeah, at least. I mean, I say at least, but I would think maybe even sooner because I wouldn't, especially if they are legitimately going to try to keep the budget, 60 million or lower, maybe 80 million or lower, then we might even get one sooner than that.
Yeah,
they come they come out the sequel at Christmas.
I mean, if they get a bigger budget, from some of the stuff I've read, like not anything anyone said, but just kind of my take on it. Like I get the impression that like if they had a bigger budget, they would just want to spend it on like stuff like using certain characters
Yeah.
like that they need to get
My
the rights for.
my biggest fear for the franchise is what they wanted to do in that article, which is, and a lot of comedy movies ultimately do this, is where by the third movie they have so many cameos that it's like to obnoxious levels, A- And so like I was extremely happy the way they did the Hugh Jackman cameo in the film. Like that was really good. Like the way that they did a lot of things in the film was really good. So I hope they stick to their desire of trying to keep it a little bit low budget just to keep pushing themselves.
I did for most of the movie. I was anticipating what the gratuitous cameo was going to be, whether it was going to be Hugh Jackman or Stan Lee. I still don't know which one it was.
I want to say it was Stan Lee.
in the middle of a gratuitous nudity. So
Right.
He finally got to live his dream.
He did what he was destined to do.
Where do you rank that among the Stan Lee cameos?
I mean, I thought it was pretty high up there for me.
Yeah, mainly because it was basically what all the others ones wanted to be. Like, usually he's surrounded by girls, with the exception of the Thor cameo. So this one just made a lot of sense.
I think I put it in my top 3 with the Age of Ultron cameo, where he's a veteran, and I've always liked the Incredible Hulk cameo because it actually played into the plot of the movie.
Right.
It wasn't just there to just be there, so it served a purpose. So, yeah, I think it's in my top 3.
Right.
Cool. So I guess, Colton, if you're watching this and you haven't seen it, go watch it. If anyone stumbles across this video and managed to make it all the way through this,
This was the superhero movie for the ADHD generation.
Right. And I hope when we hit our 200th episode and people are going back to the beginning because they feel like that's a thing they should do, and they hear this
Colton's
episode.
going back to the beginning.
Right. I hope that they sincerely go, who the fuck is Colton?
Especially if he's the one doing it.
Right.
Oh wait, that's me. Oh great, thanks guys.
You don't know Colton at this point in time, episode reboot number 1, but be listening for the nasally guy around episode 25.
But now that we've talked about Deadpool, let's talk about the overnight.
We'll say that for the end. First, I just want to get through our So what we started doing, like right at the very tail end of our run, is everyone, by everyone I mean me and Daniel, both having picks of stuff. So, Daniel, what is your pick for this wonderful episode of Movie Takes Live?
I think I'm gonna go with 11/22/63, the new Hulu event series that premiered. By the time when are we posting this? Probably.
It's going live like right now. Like it is literally on the internet as we speak.
Oh! like oh crap! Oh no, I didn't tell my parents. But no, 11/22/63 premiered last Monday on Hulu, and it'll have a new episode every Monday. I believe it's 8 episodes. It's produced by J.J. Abrams. It's based off of the Stephen King novel of the same name about a English teacher that goes through a portal in the back room of a diner that goes back to a few years before President John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963, and it's about everything he does in order to prepare to try to stop the assassination from taking place, and the detours that go into that. And it's just the first episode. James Franco stars as the main character. I mean, I really like the book. It's the only Stephen King book I've ever read, because time travel is it's my jam. But I recommend checking it out. It kind of just dives into the story. There's not a lot of crumb laying for the audience or talking down to the audience. One of my favorite themes of the first episode, and probably the book, but I can't remember many details about the book, is about how the past fights back or will fight back against you while you try to change history, and it comes across in a really interesting way in the pilot episode, which is an hour and 20 minutes long. I would never have picked James Franco to be the lead in this series, because as good as James Franco is in certain things, this was not the role I'd ever thought he'd inhabit. But he's good in it. He's fine. The direction doesn't really get interesting until the main character has gone back to 1960. But once it does, it's really good. And Chris Cooper is also in it. He acts his butt off in it, but that's because he's Chris Cooper. But yeah, 11/22/63 on Hulu every Monday, 8 episodes. Check it out.
Cool. I've watched the first episode. I'm gonna withhold my judgment on it until I guess I've watched it, or at least seen a few more episodes. As of right now, there are things that are good and good things that are, but it's definitely worth checking out. And I really think that it's a book that I think everyone should read. So, anyway.
Well, and what's your pick, Crow?
Mine, I just finished this book. Is How Star Wars Conquered the Universe, and it is it's the history of Star Wars told through the biography of George Lucas from early days all the way up until the point that Lucas everything was sold to Disney, and with like alternating chapters of different like aspects of Star Wars fan culture. So like the two of those that I remember the best are, there's the one about the Stormtrooper Legion, and then the one about the people that are like obsessed with building droids, especially like R2 units. So it's like you get doses of like those two different aspects. It does a really good job of kind of like laying out a case for maybe like why certain decisions were made by George Lucas. It talks about I learned from this book that George Lucas was like the top pick for a while to direct Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, he was. But he got busy with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Stuff happened.
But the book's really detailed. It does a really good job of like kind of like illustrating those relationships that he had with all the other directors. The importance it has just to like Hollywood as a whole, and like the culture of directors in Hollywood, and it definitely, I came out of it really, really appreciating George Lucas a lot more than I did before. Like, not that I like didn't, but I understand why some things could have. I understand that a lot of times he was probably making the best decision that he could have, even when they weren't good decisions.
Yeah.
But definitely recommend. I listen to it in audiobook form because I get to drive 2 hours a day now, and the audiobook's really great. Definitely worth checking out.
Matt?
I would recommend the second season of Young Justice. I just finished it today. It's up on Netflix now, and I don't know if either of y'all have watched Young Justice, but it's kind of like it's basically like Teen Titans, but they're a little bit older. And the first season was all about them trying to put together a team and trying to get the respect from the Justice League. And the second season takes place like 5 years later from the first season, so there's new team members, and the old team members are, kind of have their whole storyline, but it's not just like an episodic kind of thing. There's a big A storyline that takes place over the whole season about an alien invasion kicking off, and then it kind of segments off into different characters and their relationships between each other, over each different episode. And yeah, they're battling supervillains and blah blah blah, but it all plays into kind of like a larger storyline. So definitely check it out if you like DC Comics at all, or if you just kind of like the Teen Titans comic or cartoons from 10 years ago or so. Definitely check that out. Or if you just like DC's animation at all, which is usually really good. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So, we're going to say this is the official end of this episode. So, cool. We made an episode, Daniel and Matt, for the first time since, was it August?
No, October at least, maybe.
It's been a while.
Now stay tuned for a discussion of The Overnight.
Yes, I would say like anyone that's watching this, Colton. So pause, go like watch a trailer, so you know what you're getting into.
To be fair, I had watched the trailer before I watched it.
Yeah, and then at any like, I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you, Colton. There's like alarming amounts of fake penises in this, and so definitely it's probably not for you. But if you want to watch it, by all means.
So yeah, I mean the only thing I knew about The Overnight was that Adam Scott was in it. It just involved a married couple having an interesting night at another couple's house. That's all I knew about it.
The only thing I knew about it is that Adam Scott was in it, and it was on Netflix.
I also knew that
I don't want to say what I knew about it, because then it made it sound bad. Because Daniel sent me a message that said, "Hey, you should watch The Overnight."
Okay, you don't.
No, he said you should watch The Overnight. It has Jason Schwartzman showing off his huge cock in it.
No, I warned you that it had that. I warned you that.
And I was like, well, Adam Scott's in it, so how does this make sense? And so I was very confused going into it, and I was like, fuck it, we'll watch it, we'll see what's happening. Let's just say in text message form, it didn't really sound like a warning, Daniel.
It was a warning. It was. It definitely was. But I also knew the movie had been like a Sundance selection, so that piqued my interest. But I mean, also like I'm an Adam Scott fan, so thanks to Parks and Recreation. But I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It took some turns I wasn't exactly expecting, especially at the end. What did you guys think?
I was confused at the end a little bit, honestly. There's a lot of weird moments in the movie. I got to be honest though, during the dick scene, which is what we're gonna mostly talk about right here. I'm gonna be honest with you. like it disturbed me that I couldn't see his balls, so I had to pause the movie, and I took a photo of it and sent it to my fiance. I was like, these are fake dicks, right? These got to be fake dicks. You can't see any balls. They have like the exact same pubic hair between the two of these guys, and they are clearly from different areas of the world. Like, look at Jason Schwartzman, like not from the same tribe here. So like for them to have the same pubic hair, and their dicks were like weirdly rubbery, bouncy for the scenario. So like that's pretty much what that movie was just like some talking on either side of just weird dick dance.
Crow, do you have a critical analysis of the film that we were speaking of?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I the all of the dicks didn't like. I didn't really have any opinion on it. It's part of the movie for me.
Wait, no, but do you think those were definitely fake dicks, though, right?
And probably
Right, those had to be fake dicks.
for Adam Scott's sake, I hope so.
I don't even care about that, but those had to be fake dicks.
Let's just.
We gotta get Adam Scott on here so we can talk about this, because I feel like I need to know this information, and I don't really care about the size of it. But there was just like when like Dead or Alive beach volleyball came out and everybody was upset about like the bounce physics on the tits.
Daniel, do me a favor. You're all active on Twitter and stuff. Will you send Adam Scott a message on Twitter?
Yo, Adam, I got a question for you.
Adam, was that a fake dick in the overnight?
He'll probably see this. Don't worry about it.
Does this will get around? I mean,
Colton will tell him about it.
Right, Colton will mention it. So,
at their next brunch.
Okay, like I don't really. I mean, I'm sure that you guys could think of something else to talk about in the movie, but there was nothing else. I mean, you might bring up the asshole paintings, you might bring up the massage parlor hand job, but that's it.
That was the weirdest. That was the weirdest out of left field thing that happened in the entire movie. Where he's like,
that scene was just in there to qualify it as an indie film.
Yeah, where she just blankly stares in the camera and just beats this dude off.
If you don't have one painfully awkward scene that just kind of feels a little bit out of place in an already kind of awkward movie, it's not an indie film.
To be fair though, the whole movie I kind of assumed that Jason Schwartzman was hitting on dude. That whole lead up seemed very much that. Right?
Well,
was it really a surprise to either of y'all?
I could have gone either way on it.
I bet you.
I don't know what the turning point was. I just kind of assumed that it was I guess I was in the space that Adam Scott and his wife were in, where I was picking up the vibes that they were, as far as the couple courting another couple type of thing.
Right.
I don't know exactly what point that kind of went off the rails.
I did like how they kind of turned that on its head when they were like, we've never done this before. Really? You guys seemed like you're pros at this.
Right. To the point that felt like an utter lie. Right? Like I didn't believe them when they said it. They were like, "This is the first time." I'm like, "Fuck you! It's the first time." How many couples have you showed your asshole paintings to? How many dick dances have you done, Jason Schwartzman and French Girl? How many times have you shown your breast pump footage randomly to these fucking people who just kind of showed up for dinner?
I found it believable, and I felt like the ending of the movie in the park reinforced it, to where it was fine for me. I accepted it.
I mean, I also like the scene that echoed back, to the beginning of the movie with the kid barging in. I was like, yep, that's how this movie is supposed to end. I approve. But yeah, I did. The final scene that you're talking about, it's kind of like anything that happened after that kind of night would just have this real surreal experience to it, kind of dreamlike in a way. But it all happened.
I like to believe that final scene just proved that they were being incepted.
But I did enjoy the movie overall as, two couples who are kind of going through the same thing but are processing it in different ways and them meeting and then coming out better on the other side.
Yeah, I definitely felt like there was a sense of like a completed journey in it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, I enjoyed it. Like if you can I- if you can get past the if you're comfortable with the subject matter, it's definitely a recommend for me. I thought it was I really enjoyed it and liked it.
Yeah, Colton, if you're okay with the sexuality of the movie, you should check it out.
Did,
Uh, I
did, did either of you guys see a movie called The One I Love with Mark Duplass?
I don't think
uh,
so.
It's on Netflix. It's got Mark Duplass and the girl who played Peggy on Mad Men. It's a really cool. Uh,
oh,
it's a
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
science
Yeah,
fiction esque, or no, not science, like kind of Twilight Zone-ish romantic drama slash
yeah, I saw it.
comedy that
It,
I
it,
watched a couple years ago. It's really good.
that's the movie that I always look at on Netflix and like I'll watch that at some point.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, not at all the same, but
Oh no, yeah,
it's
no,
good.
yeah, Crow, you really need to watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's very interesting at the very least. Um, but taking a step back to the overnight, I
Daniel.
recommend it. I recommend it. I do. I think it's kind of a weird journey, and kind of like what Crow said is, uh, the movie was done very well that you really will feel kind of the odd confusion and sensuality that the leading couple is going through,
Hmm.
because it's not very clear what Jason Schwartzman and his wife really want. Like from the get go, you kind of assume that it's sexual. Like there's kind of like it opens with a tone that invites you to think that it's sexual from the get go.
Yeah.
But the flow of the movie will kind of have you kind of twist it a little bit to the point that, and again, I was still totally kind of confused by the end of it, and then the fact that they'd smoked so much and drank so much, but everybody seemed kind of pretty sober, at least in their actions. Uh, seemed kind of odd, but otherwise, like the film is definitely worth watching as like an exploration of uh, of sexuality.
I guess like
Yeah.
for me, like I've never been in that situation,
Who
but
who who has? I mean, who
Yet
really has?
I honestly like I know
I've
some
been in that situation.
yeah, um, but like I've never been in that situation, but there are a lot of things in my fairly uneventful life that I can like relate to like a big chunk of the movie. Like there are the like for example, whenever the two women leave and it goes to that one scene, um, that uncomfortable feeling where you get into a car and you realize this I really should not be in this vehicle with this person. Like after you're already can't get out, like stuff like that, and like that sort of feeling, and like just the like being in a situation where you're out of control,
Hmm.
and you don't know what's going on, but you're
You're
okay with
you,
it.
you're on a ride that you can't get off of.
Yeah,
A roller
yeah,
coaster.
yeah. Like that reminds me of one time I was downtown with some friends that ran into some friends, and it was just like this night of just like going from apartment to apartment, doing random crap, watch a movie, play foosball, all that kind of stuff, and it's something that doesn't ever happen to me, but it's not something like I'm used to happening. But it it's just sort of like I'm just kind of a passenger on this ride, and I'm just gonna see where it's going, and it could be bad, it could be good, and that's sort of I felt that through the bulk of the movie,
Mm.
and there was this like I came out of it almost feeling a sense of like personal growth from watching
Yeah.
it, So
and it's only like an 80-minute movie. Like it's really short. But I mean, they put a lot of good character analysis and
Fake
uh,
penises.
that too, and just some character analysis and stuff like that that a
yeah,
lot of movies can't do in like 2 hours.
yeah, and like
So
you said it was a short movie, but like I really cared about the characters, like all of them. Well, not the kids, but you know, all four of the main characters. Like I cared about all of them. Like I was happy that they were doing okay at the end. That so it accomplished a lot more than a lot of films do.
oh yeah, definitely. I don't know if I'll revisit it. I might like I feel like this is like a movie that like if you're dating someone, it's like, hey, you want to watch this? And if they're still on the couch with you by the end of it, I think you got a good thing going. Um,
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
that's definitely like a 25th date movie.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'd open your first date with the overnight.
I'm not saying first night, but at some point in the whole courting
Like
process.
you got to build up the awkward relationship movie like thing before you get to.
I think I would have definitely taken a girl to see Deadpool way before I would have watched the overnight with. So.
I think you. Maybe.
So just keep that in mind, Colton. When it comes down to it, you might want to wait a bit to take a girl to go watch the overnight.
But which is going to be a cult classic that will be re-released in theaters every 5 years for the next few decades.
That's not true, but it would have been fantastic. On the plus side, if they did that, then Adam Scott's character wouldn't have to worry about the size of his penis because on an IMAX, every dick looks huge.
It'd be hilarious if we lived in a society where like small intimate dramas got released on IMAX and like action movies didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this $150 million romantic comedy.
oh man, Anne Hathaway, she looks so big on this screen. I can see the tears in her eyes.
Look at the scar on her left cheek. It's ever so small, but
look at that dimple.
You could tell that pimple was really bugging her that week.
but yeah, The Overnight, great movie. Disturbing, great movie. Yeah.
In fact, if you were to take somebody to go see Deadpool in theaters now and then watch The Overnight afterwards, and they're still with you afterwards,
wife her. You need to wife her.
You're
Even
technically you're technically in a committed relationship.
I will agree with that.
I will sign off on this statement.
Wait. Here's my pitch for Deadpool 2. It's The Overnight with Deadpool as instead of Adam Scott.
Hey, let's.
No. In place of the other couple, like he and his wife are in place of the other couple. He's just Deadpool's trying to seduce Adam Scott.
I would love it to be basically like the Nutty Professor with Deadpool, where Deadpool is playing all the characters and just not attempting to play alternate characters. They're all just wearing the costume and like just various clothes over it. Which lends into my final point that I actually signed the petition to have Deadpool host Saturday Night Live.
So, wait, is that a thing?
It is. It's a petition, yeah. It's a thing.
Oh, wow.
They want not Ryan Reynolds, but Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but Deadpool to be in all the sketches.
I would. Oh wow. That'd be interesting. I would be down for that.
They really, really need to do that.
Right. That would be beyond impressive. Like it'd be gimmicky as fuck, but like at the same time, why not? Just why not?
Yeah, make sure to leave a link to that that petition in the show notes, Crow.
I will try to not forget.
All right, well,
All right.
Deadpool, overnight. See them both.
But not the latter. If you just started dating someone.
Yeah, don't jump into that. But if you do, you're in a committed relationship on the other side of it.
Better start looking for a diamond.
Or you have to disappear a body. Either way. Have a good night, everybody.
Done.
Goodbye. And we're out.